The Invincible is a game that has kinda slipped past my radar in the last year or two. I'd heard about it and even seen the reveal trailer, but didn't think much of it. Not until this video showcasing some of the game's environments came out just last week. I originally thought this was a game that took place on Mars or something, but wow, did these shots make me want to walk around Regis 3 and take in all the sights. So let's dive deeper into the story and gameplay of The Invincible and why it's been grabbing my attention recently. We'll be exploring this strange planet as an astrobiologist named Yasna in this first-person adventure thriller. The world has entered a space race where rivaling factions are desperate to expand their reach throughout the cosmos. This scientific journey soon turns into a search and rescue mission for the rest of your crewmates. As Yasna, we'll use a variety of tools to explore and learn about Regis 3 and find ourselves involved in a philosophical adventure set in the most remote corners of space. There will be a lot of choice and consequence tied to the narrative, which I'll go into a bit more later. But first, I want to mention the inspiration behind the game. If you weren't aware, it's based on the novel The Invincible by Polish author Stanisław Lem. Written in 1964, the book was heavily inspired by the Cold War and the technology of the time. I've personally never read it, but it's apparently very popular in the world of classic science fiction, and a lot of people have said it's his best work. Now, the story of the game won't follow Lem's book word for word, in order to keep us on our toes, as developer Starwood Industries put it. In a YouTube comment where someone asked if a character named Rohan would be in the game, they replied, "You will be able to find certain characters from the book in The Invincible, but we can't disclose more now." What does seem to be the same, though, is the mysterious planet, Regis 3, and the overall psychological influences and questions that the players will be asking themselves. Here's an excerpt from The Invincible's website that sums this up pretty nicely. What's wrong with humankind? We push ourselves constantly and stubbornly to places not ready for us and places that we are not ready for ourselves. It's no different here on Regis 3, another planet to check on our way. On the surface, it all seems so simple. And yet, this corner of the cosmos and the secrets associated with irreversibly affect the perception of yourself and of the entire human species. You are faced with unusual choices and you have to deal with their consequences. If you make it back, nothing will ever be the same for you. I think I'll take people's word for it that the book is good and go into the game blind. Now, The Invincible definitely fits into the exploration walking simulator category, and I hope this more simplified gameplay will really let the story and the world shine. Similar to other games in the genre like Firewatch, we'll be communicating with an astrogator over the radio. He'll give you clues and advice on what to do, but sometimes you'll need to make your own tough decisions since he won't be there on Regis 3 with you. And The Invincible plans to really test players on their deductive skills and ability to tell friends from enemies. Deciding whether or not to interact with a creature and how you choose to do it can mean the difference between safety and danger. Even though we have seen a 5-minute chunk of gameplay, it's still not clear how everything will be structured, but it's described as being both a cinema-like non-linear story and a flowing experience with multiple story branches and multiple endings. My guess on this is that once we get into the story, there'll be different tasks or leads to follow. Maybe we'll have multiple signals or coordinates for different missing crew members, and the order in which we investigate them will be up to us. A couple other gameplay things. We'll have a variety of tools to use, like a telemeter and a tracker. We'll also be able to drive through certain parts of the landscape. The goal is to let players experience realistic interactions with older analog technologies, to feel these gadgets working and feel like we're actually using them to navigate and learn. This first gameplay preview, as it's called, was posted in June, which suggests that we'll get to see a bit more of The Invincible before we get our hands on it next year. I'd really like to see footage of the driving feature, and maybe a more open area, if there are any. Again, I'm not sure exactly what the whole open-ended thing entails. So if the story is as gripping as people say it is, and the gameplay doesn't end up being too slow, I think The Invincible could be a fantastic start for Starwood Industries, as this is the Polish studio's first game together as a team. The Invincible is set to come out in 2023, And while you're waiting for more news on this one, check out these other upcoming sci-fi games I've already covered.